Array command can be used in AutoCAD to create repeated pattern of objects. For example, in this case, we have this geometry, and let's say that we want to create a pattern in such a way that we have 2 rows and 6 columns of this window. For that, I'll select a rectangular array first. So when you click on this small arrow button, you'll see we have 3 kinds of arrays: rectangular array, path array, and polar array. So let's start with rectangular array. Now when you select array command, you can see that this command line will prompt you to select objects. So right now we want to make an array out of this window, so select this window. So make a complete window to enclose it completely, and now press enter. So as soon as you do this, you'll see a temporary array appears on your screen with grips for making modifications. So right now you can make modifications using this grip. So when you click on this extreme arrow grip, it will replicate your array along its length. So when you drag it, you'll find that more windows will be created. In a similar way, you can use this grip to replicate this object into Y direction. The second arrow can be used to change gap between 2 corresponding lines or 2 corresponding columns. You can even reverse the direction of this array using these grips. So when you click on this extreme grip and bring it to the other side, it will reverse its direction. Similarly, you can reverse the direction along Y also using this grip. So let's now keep the direction as it was, and let's make changes using this ribbon. You'll also notice an array creation ribbon, which is a temporary ribbon that appears when you select an array command. So I'll make all the changes using this ribbon. So right now, as I said, that we need 6 columns, which we already have, so I'm not going to make any changes, but we can see that there is little gap on this side but a large gap here. So let's compensate for this, and I'll change value to 8 units. So type 8 and press tab. If you want, you can also make further changes to this. So let's change this distance to 8.5 units. Press tab to apply these changes, and you can see that the changes are reflected. You will directly see that if we change this value, this total gap between the initial and the end object will be added automatically. So, and when you change this value, let's change it to 40, you'll also observe that this value changes accordingly. So let's keep it at 8 and 40. Now let's move on to rows. Right now we have 4 rows which we don't need, and we only need 2 rows. So type 2 and press tab, and only 2 rows we have now, and the remaining 2 rows have been omitted. Now we have here a button for associative. So when you click on associative, you'll be able to edit your array even after you have made changes. So let's keep it checked and click on close array. Now we have our array here. When you now click on this array, you'll see that this ribbon appears again, and this is the result of checking associative button. So if you'll keep it unchecked, it will behave as if all these windows are separate objects. You can also return to non-associative behavior of an array by exploding it. So when you type X on command line after selecting your array and press enter, you'll see that all these objects are now separate from each other, and you can select them as a separate object.